everyone, and welcome to this new episode of the Elope and Explore podcast. First of all, I want to start by saying that I'm sick today, so I apologize if my voice is not as crisp as it might be sometimes. Um, but yeah, so today we're going to talk about um, the legal side of eloping. So, especially regarding to making your marriage legal and, like recognized back home. So, a lot of couples contact me with a lot of questions when it comes to making their elopement ceremony legal, especially when they're eloping in a different country than their home country. And it's absolutely fine because it can be a little bit like daunting and super scary to actually go through that process in a foreign country. So I'm just gonna explain to you a bit more what you need to do generally speaking. And we're going to talk about like some tricky countries where you can't really legally get married because sometimes that's the case, and some of the easiest countries to get married as well legally. So, in general, you have two options when you elope. You can do it at home, and if you're from the US, it's super easy to get married outside. You just need a celebrant, and you go to the county clerk, you ask for a marriage license, and then you have your celebrant say some specific words depending on where you get married, like in which state, and you sign the paperwork, and boom, you're married. That paper is taken back to the country clerk by either you or the celebrant, and that's it. That's legal, and it's recognized in all the U.S. states and abroad, and it's absolutely fine. So that's the easiest way in general, obviously. So, but sometimes you don't want to elope in the U.S., and that's also really fine. And sometimes it's doable, and sometimes it's not. So the difference between like eloping at home versus abroad is mainly that sometimes when you elope abroad, you'll need to do a symbolic ceremony. It will be your only option. Um, so in some countries where it's okay to make it legal, what you'll actually need in general is obviously passports, but you'll also need to ask the consulate or some other um, government entity for some papers to recognize your marriage. So in general, they ask for an affidavit of marriage, so kind of a certificate that says that you are actually not married to any other person and that you can actually get married to that person that you want to marry. So that's the first thing. And some other papers might include some kind of notarized version of it and a translation. And that's where kind of it gets a bit messy because if you're from Canada, for instance, Canada is not in the oh gosh, I forgot the name. So there is like an alliance between countries that kind of allows you to have to ask for a specific kind of recognition of your paper and to make it legal. And Canada is not part of it. So if an apostille, sorry, that's the word I was looking for. So Canada is not in the apostille kind of alliance countries. So when you're from Canada and they ask for apostille papers, you won't be able to provide them. So you have to have like a notarized, super specific version of it, which can be super annoying and super tricky to get. So that's one thing. I know there are some countries as well that are not part of the apostille kind of alliance. I don't know if it's an alliance, but in general, that's what it is. So it makes it super tricky. The US is, and European countries also are. So it's pretty easy for all those countries to get an apostille if that's needed to get married in the country that you chose. But like Canada in general, it's like really hard to get all the papers because They're like, yeah, we need to an apostille version of that. And you're like, yeah, I'm from Canada, so I can't actually get that. It's not possible for me. So yeah, it's a whole nightmare. So if you're from Canada in general, if they ask for these kind of papers, I would really recommend that you just get legally married at home. It will be much easier for you, and will avoid like a headache in general and some stress that is not really necessary. um, but if you're from the US, you can get apostilled versions of all your paperwork, and that's fine. In terms of who can officiate your elopement, so because like different countries will ask for different papers, Norway has like its own kind of version of different papers that you need to fill out, and you need to do that at least 3 months in advance. It's not like in the US where you can just go to the county clerk, and in some states you can get married right there. Like you just go and in 10 minutes you're married. It's not the case in most European countries and in Asia as well. Sometimes you do need to wait for like 3 months, 2 months, a month sometimes to be able to get married. So some countries, if you want to if you want to elope in 2 months, you won't be able to do it legally in some countries. So that's one thing to note. Um, the other thing to note is that, so I can't provide a full list of all the documents needed for all the countries that I cover. It's like literally impossible. And this will also depend on your where you're from. So, like, let's say you want to get legally married in New Zealand, and they're gonna ask you like um, some paperwork that's gonna differ if you want to get married from the U.S. in Iceland. Very different. And some countries also, like most of European countries, actually will ask you to actually go to the city center to get married by the mayor or like the assistant to the mayor. You won't be able to have a ceremony outside that will be legal. So that's also one thing to consider. If you really want your ceremony outside to be fully legal, you won't be able to do it in different European countries or different Asian countries or like different, like the worldwide countries. Each country has its own rules in terms of what you can and cannot do to get legally married. And some countries also don't allow you at all to get married if you're not a citizen or if you don't have like a residency in that specific country. That's the case for France or Switzerland or even Japan. So like it makes it just not possible to get legally married in those countries, and that's absolutely fine. But you have to take that into account, because if you really want on your wedding certificate to have the date of your symbolic ceremony written on it, then you might want to go with an easier country like Iceland. Pretty easy to get legally married in Iceland, like wherever you're from. Scotland as well. Spain, Gibraltar, which is like also parts of Denmark, pretty easy. But like all those countries are going to ask you to have a ceremony at a specific location with a specific person. So you won't have, just like in the US, an officiant that you can choose and come and officiate your wedding. It won't be like that. Same goes for like Italy. You have to be in a church and or not in a church, but like at the city center for sure, or at a specific location that has been recognized by the Italian government as a suitable location to get married. So if you want to go on top of a cliff in Italy, that's not really possible. It's not feasible. The same goes for um, Ireland. You can't go to Ireland and get married anywhere you want. It's not possible. You have to legally married. I mean, you have to go to a specific location that has been agreed to be a suitable wedding location for your celebrant from Ireland to actually marry. It's not the case in Iceland. In Iceland, you can choose your celebrants. They have to be like obviously ordained, but you can go anywhere. You can get married on top of a cliff in Iceland. That's absolutely fine. So that's like who can officiate your elopement, either the mayor, depending on which country you chose, or an officiant if it's possible, and they have to be ordained. when to get your marriage license is going to be based exactly where you want to get married. Like I said, some countries, it's better to do it as soon as possible. So you'll be able to have your actual paperwork in order when you get married. Some other countries are going to be like, yeah, don't do it like before a month before your elopement, because they don't want you to like ask for all the paperwork before that. So yeah, it really depends on which country you choose. So that's why like many couples actually separate the legal part from the ceremony, and many couples actually choose to get legally married at home, like at the courthouse, to make it very easy, and then have a beautiful symbolic ceremony that will be super stress-free because there is no paperwork to sign, and there is no like consulate to run to, and stuff like that, or like city center to get to in time, and that's gonna eat up a lot of your day. So yeah, that's why many couples separate the legal part from the ceremony. So which countries are complicated? Like I said, I would not recommend France and like anything that is related to France, like French Polynesia, Reunion Islands. You have to have either like a house there or be there for at least a month to have like some kind of residency to get married in France. The same goes for Switzerland. You can't get legally married in Switzerland unless you're Swiss or you have been in Switzerland. At least I think it's a month, but you have to check. Also, like what I'm saying right now, as of today, might change in the future. So always check what I say with the current regulations when you hear that podcast episode, because it might not be the case in the future. And countries are very easy to elope to. Obviously, the US, if you're not from the US, super easy to get married in the US. You just go to the county clerk. You have to do some things from like back home to ask for your wedding license, wedding marriage to be recognized. Like I don't know, like you're from France and you want to get married in the US, you have to ask for the consulate to contact your city hall to like publish the banns, and then once it's like published, then you can have your ceremony, and then you send everything back to the consulate, and they confirm everything to the mayor, and then your your marriage license is valid also in your country of France. Sometimes it's like that. So you know what? It's like super. Sometimes it's really annoying. um, so yeah, complicated, and some others are easy. Like I said, Iceland, Scotland, Gibraltar, which is not a country, but it's like part of a country, super small, really cute, super nice to get married to. Denmark, super easy as well, but you have to go to the city hall to get married in Denmark. So just, you can't go outside and get married in Denmark. You can do that in Scotland and Iceland. So yeah, pretty easy. The US, like I said, super easy as well. I heard that Canada is also pretty easy for foreigners to like allow people to get married. Norway is also very easy, but you'll have to ask way in advance, at least 3 months before your allotment, because it takes some time for them to get back to you with all the paperwork that's needed. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I would not recommend Indonesia, because they will ask you to do absolutely a religious ceremony. So if you're not religious and like super religious, and they accept 4 different religions, Buddhism, Christianism, Muslim, and Hinduism. If you're not from these religions and actually like part of that religion, actively part of it, you won't be able to get legally married in Bali, or in Indonesia in general. So I would not recommend doing the legal route in that country. So symbolic ceremony in Bali is way easier and so beautiful. Also, New Zealand, very easy to get married in New Zealand. You can do it anywhere, super cute. You can take a helicopter on top of a mountain, that's absolutely fine. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So What I would recommend that you do is before you decide on a country, if having the legal part is super important for you, to really actually research that specific destination and see what is feasible, what sounds feasible to you as well, because like we're not the same when it comes to like navigating the legal part of things. So if that sounds overwhelming for you, please do not do it, because it's just going to stress you out. If it sounds feasible, if it's just like going to, and you're like, oh, well, you know what, that's next house, that's absolutely fine. We can do that. We're capable. Then do it. Like it's also a matter of preference and a matter of what you feel like doing or not. So yeah, check it out. Check on the internet what is feasible, what is possible, what kind of celebrant you need, what is needed from you in terms of paperwork, if you need to be in a country a few days before, or if you just can arrive and that's fine, if your celebrant can take care of the things or not, because like most of the cases your celebrants can do like the wedding certificate and stuff, but they can't like appear in person to the consulate for you. That's not possible. Or to the city hall. That's not possible as well. Some countries will actually ask you to be physically in front of them to like emit any kind of papers for you. So yeah, check that out based on where you are and where you want to get married. And you'll have all the information on either Google or ChatGPT, which is also your friend. And then you'll be able to make a decision if you want to make it legal or if you'd like to make it more symbolic. Both are valid, both are like great options. And I don't have a preference when it comes to like having a legal ceremony for your elopement or not. It's absolutely up to you guys. And that's pretty much it for today. I hope that was helpful. Have a magical day, y'all.